We've got to get somebody quick.
Are you crazy? They'll put us in jail. If we tell anyone, they'll say it's our fault. Who believe it was an accident?
What if
Listen to me. We'll go home now and never, ever tell anyone. No one but us will ever know. Jude, swear?
I swear.
Kelly? Kelly!
I don't want to go to jail.
Swear?
I swear.
Nick? Nick!
I'll never tell.
Good. Let's go.
Hey guys, welcome back to Spooky Tuesday, a weekly podcast where we're breaking down all of our favorite slashers, thrillers, monster movies, and black comedies on the new scariest day of the week. I'm Sydney Thompson.
I'm Monica Haidt.
And I'm Chelsea Duff.
And this week, dear listener, we are going back to a place that could be horrifying all on itself. And that's high school, baby.
Oh, God.
But in a specific monumental moment in high school. Mm-hmm. And that would be prom night. But not just any prom night. It's prom night 1980.
It's 80s prom night, baby.
80s prom night. And it's motherfucking disco prom night.
Yes.
It's 80s disco prom night, baby.
80s disco prom night, baby.
No. Here's the thing. This is an 80s movie, yes, because it came out in 1980. But because it came out in 1980, that means it was filmed in the 70s. And I was so confused watching this because I was like, it's looking more 70s to me. And then I was like, oh, this did not come out in like 83. It came out in 80. And that's why I liked it even more. Because I love the 70s aesthetic, if you didn't know already.
What?
They also always say, like, decades go from like 0 to 9, right? But
yeah.
Style decades go from like 5 to 5.
That makes sense.
So like 1975 to like, 1983, 1984 are all, disco, all that kind of stuff. And then it bleeds to like the late 80s, early 90s, and so on.
And they say sometimes in like middle America, it takes the trends a little while to filter in from the coasts,
Mm-hmm.
Totally. And where did this take place? No one knows, actually.
They use, an Ohio area code, right?
Oh, it is Ohio. It takes place in Ohio. I read this in trivia. It takes place in Ohio, but they filmed everything in Canada.
This is a Canadian movie.
Yep.
Classic.
It's so Canadian. I mean, it's so Canadian.
Also.
It's so Canadian because it's such a nice horror movie.
It's so nice. It's so tame. I was reading something that was like, they kept in the graphic kills. I was like, where? When? At what
they
time
made it
at all? Okay, one time.
Originally, it was a PG rated movie. And then they said, nobody's going to see a PG rated slasher movie. So they actually added violence in Monica to make it an R rating.
Okay.
So even considered that.
No blood splatter, though.
But, listener, I just almost killed myself on a Jolly Rancher.
Oh my God!
Oh, I was
I
wondering. I saw something in your mouth.
Oh no! Okay,
you swallow
but
it?
Yeah, I did, and I turned it into like a tiny little ball, and it went down.
Oh
no!
Dangerous!
Wow,
dangerous!
That was the
Danger!
end for you.
Danger is my middle name on prom night.
You're so brave.
Thank you. Okay, but if you haven't seen this, honestly, cult classic at this point, movie, because this is the first time I saw this. What about y'all?
This is the first time you saw this?
Mm-hmm.
See, Chelsea, I was right to be nervous if I was spoiling the movie for Sydney.
Sorry, I just assumed you had always seen it and you were born with the knowledge of what happened in this movie, I think. Because you suggested it.
Every 80s film.
I feel like that's right. And you suggested it, and I just was like, she'd seen it. So when I watched it last night, I texted you immediately when I had something to say that I needed to share out loud. So,
I watched it, but I'd watched it by the time that you were texting me.
Thank God.
So.
Thank God.
Oh, thank
I
God.
had some other knowledge
so
that,
bad.
she responded to my text, and so I was like, she's seen it. I just assumed she'd seen it 45 years ago.
Okay. But 45 years ago, prom night, is at a high school senior prom, a mass killer stalks 4 teenagers who were responsible for the accidental death of a classmate 6 years previously. And I feel like that gives everything away.
It does, but also you find out in the first 10 minutes that those children killed another child, you know?
Yeah.
That's like
It was
The
an
misdirection, I think, is actually really, really well done in this movie. So even if they like told you exactly what that was and like what the deal was, I still think like there's some surprise that they've retained. You know what I mean? They do a good job of setting up stakes, and they actually were going to have a lot more misdirection at first, and then they cut it down for some reason, but some of it's in the TV cut. Apparently there's a much longer TV cut with like way more in it, which is fascinating.
Interesting. I read that like the whole burn victim
Leonard
pedophile
Murch.
man,
Yeah.
yes, Leonard Murch was added in like at the very end, like last second kind of thing. I thought that was one of the big distraction points.
Well, maybe when they cut all the other misdirection, they were like, we need something new. But I liked that. I thought
otherwise it's pretty straightforward. Yeah.
I mean, I watched this movie last night. I took a movie watching supplement. I was sleepy. It was Sunday night. I was not committing to watching the movie. And then I was like, well, I'm just hanging out. I might as well put it on. And it was a little bit of a fever dream because I had to fight pretty hard to stay awake, but I loved it. I loved that the opening, I was saying this to Monica, I think, before we started recording. I loved that the opening was like earlier in the 70s and they were like little 6th graders because I also had just watched Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret this weekend. And so those are also 6th graders in the 70s. And I felt like it really mentally prepared me for being like, these are just stupid little babies sometimes. Like, this is a hell of a mess, but these are just little babies. That one hasn't even gotten her period yet. She's praying for it right now. The stakes are different. The stakes are different.
Okay, I'm getting that. I don't get it because it's a reference to Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. I haven't read it. I don't know
when
what
she
happened.
Says,
so I was like, when did they?
It's me, Margaret. It's like, can I have my period? Yeah.
Oh. Well, I've learned a lot today. I was like, at what point did one of those little girls ask for her period during the Hunt a Killer game or whatever?
Okay, it was in her head, but I know that it was happening.
That's exactly what she was looking for.
She was saying, kill, kill, kill. But she was thinking, God, I wish that I could become a woman, you know? I wish
and
I
then
could
once
have
there
that
was
moment.
like real bloodshed on the scene, she was like, God, this is not what I meant. God, this is not the blood I was envisioning.
You've misinterpreted me.
God, should I have been more clear in my prayer? And she needed to just, it was too late at that point.
No,
what are you gonna do?
So hard. I was thrown by the beginning of this movie though. I was like, these kids are fucked up. I mean, they're just children, but like this game is really intense. I didn't have access to like an abandoned hospital or school. Maybe hospital. Let's say hospital. That's scarier. And so that's a really I was a little bitch when I was a child. I would never be in there as a child. When I would have
also been afraid, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I could never do that. My parents and I one time trespassed and it was their idea. And I was like, we'll go to jail right now. We'll go. They're like, it's not a big deal. I'm like, we will go to jail. I was like Chucky as a kid.
They're gonna know.
You could never catch me in there.
Really, really tough times.
Mm-hmm.
No, I get that though. My friends and I definitely played weird, fucked up games. And I was like, coming up with this game in this setting, I can't figure out like what the rules are exactly. But I feel like this is so but they're like all like once you
that's a certain type of hide and seek. Yeah, it's a certain type of hide and seek that once you get found, you become a seeker as well. And so then it's like it's kind of like And Then There Was None. I don't know what it's called. I'm gonna Google it. I don't know. Keep talking.
Okay, well, I loved it. I absolutely felt like it was the kind of weird little fucked up game 6th grade girls would play. You know what I mean? I just feel like their minds are so creative and so weird, and little girls love to be like monsters, death, blood, guts, murder, in ways that people don't always give them credit for. But yeah, I mean, shit really quickly went off the rails, obviously. And I couldn't figure out like exactly how that happened. And this, like, was she just so
They're
scared
just
to get
mean.
tagged? You know what I mean?
Well, they also were trying to fuck with her because she was like younger than them and a weird. I mean, judging by the conversation that, oh my God, I don't know her name. Poor thing, she dies right away. I don't even know her name. Robin. I don't even know. Like Robin and her twin brother.
Alex.
Alex is like
A reveal.
Yeah, okay. Well, apparently it's a reveal that he's a twin. It is immediately obvious that they're twins. Like apparently there was like some scene that was deleted that made it clear that they were twins, and then they deleted it so people didn't know that they were twins. They're wearing matching turtlenecks. Of course they're twins. Are you kidding me? Why else would they be doing that? They're identical. They're not identical twins. They're fraternal
They're
twins.
identical twins.
They're identical twins.
They could be identical twins. This one of them is trans. That'd be cool.
Fair. That's
Fair.
true. That could be true. That could be it. But
that could be how this movie could be gayer, but circle back to that later.
We'll circle back. But like, I don't know. I was when I was doing my research, I was like, well, that's dumb that this is a twist because or whatever, because it's so clear they have that twin connection.
Okay, I will say I did not get that. And I again watched this movie, was a little bit of a fever dream, didn't rewatch. Do we see him in the beginning? I thought we didn't see him in the beginning.
We don't.
We do see him in the beginning. In the very beginning, what happens is all those kids are playing the game together.
Okay.
In the scary hospital. And then Kim and Robin and Alex all walk up to the hospital together. They're like on their way somewhere and they see the kids in there. They see Nick on the outside of the hospital, like he was like
climbing
scaling the
walls
outside
or whatever.
of the building.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, what the fuck? And Kim's like, oh, I forgot something at home. I'm going to go home. And so then it's just Alex and Robin are still there. And Robin kind of seems like she wants to go play. And I don't remember exactly what Alex says or what she says, but he's like, I don't want to play with them. And they definitely don't want to play with you. Don't go in there. And she's like, I'm just going to go in and check it out or something. And he's like, well, I'm not going. I'm going back with Kim, and leaves her. So she goes in and then she is pushed to her death. So you see them together with their little twin outfits.
Okay. Interesting.
They're gray and black horizontal striped turtlenecks, which is giving very Addams Family vibes. Just saying.
Well, I didn't I guess take any stock at that point in the movie of who anybody was. I was like, there's just a bunch of little kids and they're playing some freaky little game. And then when Alex and Kim showed up later with the police cars, I went, oh no, that girl had siblings. So that was my experience of watching the film, I guess. So it was a reveal for me. It was a plot twist to me. I mean, I figured they were all pretty close in age, but I couldn't quite figure out what the deal was. And so it felt like a nice reveal to me at the end when obviously blah blah blah. So I was like, oh my God, they must have been in the same grade. They must have been twins.
Oh yeah, it was like a big mind fuck for me to be like, how were those children that killed her so close with the older sister? That's weird that all of her friends are underclassmen. And I was like, why am I just assuming that all of those children are the same age as the child they killed? Like that's just preposterous. But also imagine like that you killed this bitch's sister and you're best friends with her and you look her in the eyes every day of your life and you have to look at her
try
face.
and date her.
That's a guilt thing playing out though.
I feel like there's a lot of cognitive dissonance happening there where all of these children are probably like, well, we didn't kill her. She just fell out of a window. And like, did we back her into the window shouting, kill, kill, kill? Yes, but like, I didn't expect
but there's no witnesses.
that would happen. And I feel like they didn't expect that would happen. So, you know.
It's a shitty building. Those windows are hundreds of years old. Come on.
Yeah.
No,
not
I mean,
wise of Robin to be climbing up on there in the first place. I would never, it's not her fault, obviously. They're all just little kids, but like a lot of mistakes were made in this game. Maybe they shouldn't have been playing in this building. Nobody should have been scaling that wall.
Nobody
also,
should have been
like,
there.
the thing is, Wendy immediately outs herself as a psychopath because
Yeah.
one, she's the most into it. Two, I really like her leather blazer. Sorry, it's not related, but I just wanted to say it.
Had to note it, yeah.
I had to note it. I was like, I should get one of those. Anyway. Oh, I have one, but suede. Anyway, continuing on. She's like, they immediately kill this child. Robin is dead. She's bleeding. She fell onto glass. That was bad luck. Maybe she would have survived if she hadn't
If there'd been like a
stabbed through the
big
spine.
wagon of hay underneath,
Well,
you
yes,
know, like they really could have been in business then.
That could have definitely helped the wagon of hay being there. Where's the wagon of hay when you need it?
If this is only an abandoned cowboy town.
Oh, unfortunately, that would have made it a cowboy disco. Can you
that
imagine?
Sick as
Oh my God.
fucking hell.
That's my
I
dream.
Loved that.
Oh man. Okay.
When
we're
we do
doing
the
a
remake.
rewrite.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Glad we're all on the same page. Cowboy disco.
So important, so important.
Well, okay. Nick though is like, we got to get help right away. Sane, a sane
Smart.
person. What's her name? Kelly. I burped. I'm so sorry.
Kelly.
Kelly is like immediately crying and filled with fear. Wendy's like, we never tell a soul, and if you tell a soul, you go to hell. Like, there's so many ways they could have spun it where they don't get in trouble. They're like, we were playing, okay, they get in trouble for being in that place, but they're not going to go to jail for being it as 10-year-olds.
No.
Being in, they're 11 probably because they're a year older. Being in this place and someone like accidentally falls down. They could just be like, she took it too seriously.
She
Remember when
climbed
Nick
out
was
the window
scaling
when
the
she
building?
was hiding. Yeah.
Exactly. And then they could have maybe saved her life before she bled out, but instead they're like, nah, let that bitch lie. We gotta go.
Yeah, I mean, I think she died on impact-ish enough. Maybe, well, who knows?
I don't know. I was really like, the second she fell down, I watched this with Adam and James. I almost got them for the whole movie. James bailed at the end, and the end was so exciting. But I turned to Adam and I was like, it's gonna be her. She's still gonna be alive, and she's gonna come back and do all weird and fuck them all up. I was so wrong. I had so many theories where I was like, I'm right, wrong every time.
wrong.
It was a very humbling viewing experience for me.
Sure. I will say what the movie wanted you to believe at first, I did think was like a compelling revenge narrative.
Yeah.
The whole
like,
Leonard
this is the
Munch
inspiration for I Know What You Did Last Summer.
thing. I mean, there is a lot that they did there, and I think it's really interesting, like that, like you said, they added all that in at the last minute because I thought it was tied together pretty nicely. And I did invent a version where this movie is that movie in my head, where I was like, okay, like we don't want to feel bad for him, obviously, even though he got like disfigured running from the cops, being chased for something that we know he didn't do. But also, how would he know what happened to exact his revenge plot unless he was stalking one of these children?
That's what I was thinking. I was like, how the fuck does he know though? Because I totally missed, and I rewatched the beginning. There is a shadow that comes across Robin, like after the kids leave. I was rewatching it when I was grabbing the quote, and it like zooms in on her face right after the kids take off on their bikes, and you see a shadow pass across her face. So there's obviously a witness. Well, not that obvious because I had no idea.
If you rewatch it, you can see that there was the suggestion of a witness, and
that was supposed to be a big thing, I think.
Yeah.
I think that was supposed to be like a big, like, whoa. But I don't know if you also noticed this movie looked like shit, so it's kind of hard.
How dare you say that? This movie was so artistically shot. I loved the slow-mo kill.
I don't mean that. I don't mean the way that it's shot. I mean this. This movie was on the original tape up until like 2000 something. I don't know. And so that's why you can't see things or hear things
It
very
wasn't
well,
preserved
because
well
like
before they digitized it.
before they digitized it, people had no fucking clue what was going on in some of these scenes, because I didn't know what was going on in some of these scenes, and this is the digitized version. Like that one scene where they're looking at the nurse's body. There's so much background noise. I think there's a helicopter outside. I couldn't hear anything. I am unintelligible to man. But anyway, sorry, Chelsea, you were saying something about your theory about the man who is a pedophile and was lit on fire.
Yeah, I was just like, obviously he's a stalker, so actually I don't feel bad for him because he was being a little predator to these children. That's the only way he would know in order to exact his revenge. But I thought that was a compelling story because I was like, like, should these children face a little justice for their actions? They shouldn't be killed, murdered, obviously, but I can see why somebody would murder them. But I don't want to root for a pedophile either. So how can I create a narrative in my head where he's not exacting revenge on Robin's behalf, but is just still a little freaky villain murder? Hate him. And I was fully on board for that version of the film. That said, I'm also fully on board for the version of the film that we got, because I fucking loved it. There's a 5-minute long disco scene, and I texted Sydney immediately and said, disco scene, 5 knives.
Dude, the actual prom, incredible.
I watched this, like I said, with Adam and James. When it got to that point, I turned to Adam and I was like, I'm not kidding right now. We're learning this and we're doing it at our wedding. I'm gonna learn it and do it at the wedding. Is that an original soundtrack song, Prom Night disco song? What is it? Well, I don't know.
They're all original disco songs because apparently the composer did this movie 2 real disco songs, and then they went, we can't get the rights to these songs. I have to create original songs that sound similar enough that it doesn't fuck up our movie, but that are original enough that we don't get sued for plagiarism. And he's fucking smashed it out of the park in like 5 days.
Crushed it.
Fucking funny. Adam caught that immediately. He's like, this is ripoff. I will survive. And he was like, listen. And I was like, oh my God, you're so right. Maybe not this specific Prom Night song, but one of them, into like the 40th minute of disco music straight.
I
Will Survive is an iconic disco song and is an iconic disco song to put in a slasher movie.
Oh
I Will Survive? Come on.
I just want to say, so brilliant. I just want to say, if there's anyone out there listening who's been planning to kill me, if you could do one thing for me when you do it, if you could play some really good disco while doing it,
I would, please. Yeah.
It would really put me at ease. It would put my soul to rest. Unless your point is psychological torture, in which case I would hate to have a 70s disco.
She'd hate it. Oh my God,
I'd hate it actually, and it wouldn't bring her. I would feel bad. It would be bad.
Reverse psychology, Monica. Good job.
Got him. Okay, wait. There's one character that we need to talk about because I couldn't believe that this is a man that I was seeing with my eyes. And what is his name? Oh, Lou. Farmer Lou.
The bully.
I don't love discussing people's looks sometimes, but
the unibrow
was so powerful. And as someone who played a boy in the high school play, and they gave me a big bushy unibrow, I can tell you.
I didn't do your makeup that time, so it's not on me.
No, you were in the play. We were in it together.
Oh, is that one? Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, bitches love a unibrow. And he was rocking the hell out of it in the sense that it was big and it was there, and he was unapologetic. So, good for him.
He was unapologetic in a lot of ways when he should have been apologetic.
Maybe a few apologies here and there. Did he even consider?
I just think he had too much of everything going on. He had that hair is hot hair. He's got a lot of tood. He's got a lot of too much going on with touching women.
Well, yeah.
And he's ski mask touching women, which is a whole next level that you'd think you wouldn't graduate to yet.
I couldn't believe that. I was like,
I
are
kept
you
waiting for it
kidding
to
me?
be like a prank, like a
Is
silly
this a
little prank
joke?
among friends.
No, he was like, no, I'm doing a sexual assault in the school, in the cafeteria, and broad daylight. That's what he was doing.
Really
Oh,
bold.
the late 70s, early 80s. What a time. What a different time to be
Really bold.
in high school.
I know. Also, he just like punched the shit out of Alex's spine. I was like, is he gonna be paralyzed? Like, did he break Alex's back? That was very intense. Oh my God. And it's just the whole setup of the whole friendship thing. Also, okay, before we get too far away from this, was anybody else like totally jarred? I don't know if you can say it that way. It was jarring. Let me rephrase. It was jarring for me to see Mr. Hammond and see him be played by Leslie fucking Nielsen. Because I was like, he's going to be funny for sure. Like, that's the guy from Airplane. He's going to be hilarious. And he made no jokes the whole time. And because it was him, I was so sure that it was going to be him who was the killer at the end, too. I was so sure because they set that up for you to think that. But I was like, they got this big actor. I don't know if he was big then, but
Well,
it was very confusing.
so this movie and Airplane came out the same month.
No
Oh,
way.
fascinating.
Yeah, they both came out in Airplane came out like on July 2nd, and then it says Prom Night came out July 18th of 1990.
Wow. Yeah, this is like one of his very last serious roles, and he like switched over to full comedy, probably because Airplane was a huge fucking success, I would assume. I would love to do that for a Fifth Tuesday sometime.
I have a photo of somewhere as like me as a newborn, like weeks old infant, and Leslie Nelson is holding me in a baseball dugout.
Gorgeous.
God,
Love
I
that
need
for
to
you.
find that.
You gotta put that on the internet.
I need to find
That's
that.
so good. Wow. I mean, we have to thank this man because I feel like Airplane paved the way for us to get Scary Movie.
Yes.
And what would we do without Scary Movie?
So true.
When are we gonna do Scary Movie?
Also so
Anytime.
true.
I mean, well, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they did definitely want you to think it was the dad at one point, and in the TV cut, I believe there's a scene where he's like chopping wood with an axe,
Yes.
to also establish like you know who has an axe and knows how to use it, which this guy, but I honestly the only misdirection I picked up on, I don't know if there was anything else in the film itself, was for Leonard Munch, and I don't know, I appreciated that there weren't so many suspects. I obviously was a little suspicious of the guy who just is driving his van up beside girls on the street, and hoping to get a prom date that way, but also that was a new love.
And he's just immediately ruled out. Like immediately we trust him with our whole heart. And I was like, okay, I guess I do too. I love him.
I want his van.
Well, guess what? Somebody did take his van because they were supposed to, obviously, it was going to blow up or whatever. I don't know if they were going to blow up the real one. But IMDb trivia said that van was stolen when they were supposed to do that scene. It was stolen by the stunt coordinator, which, who can blame him? It's a sick-ass van. The decor inside, gorgeous, stunning. I also would be like, I'm not blowing this up. I am taking this home.
Be like, over
You can
my
blow some
dead
trash,
body.
man. This is coming home with me. I love it. I need it.
That van. That seems like a great place to do it. I guess she probably had done it before. Had she done it before?
No, they both said it was their first time. They just were in true love. They fell in love instantly, love at first sight, love it. I mean, she loved the van. Maybe the van led a lot of credence initially, but
no, Seymour Slick Crane. That's his name. Seymour Slick Crane. Amazing.
I love him.
They just made a connection.
I would have fallen in love with him the moment he pulled out his history book of joints.
Incredible.
Yeah. I would have been like, you are the man for me.
Yeah, smart. Loved it. Filed that away.
When that shit blew up, Adam and I were like, everyone in the town is high now because of the amount of weed that just was incinerated. It's a tragedy in many ways, honestly. But yeah, I love their little curly hair love. It was really beautiful. It's very nice to see. Jesus. Wait, let's go back to Lou really quickly though. Because I feel when did Carrie come out?
70s.
76, 4 years earlier.
They're like doing a lot of copycat shit with this. Avi, that was the intent. They're like, let us pick and choose from the most popular slashers that have happened. Carrie, Lou's supposed to be like not as cute version of John Travolta, Avi, in this.
Has a lot of the same vibes, unfortunately.
It does have a lot of the same vibes. And Wendy's whole story is like so pathetic.
Yeah. Look, Wendy gets what Wendy wants, and the second Wendy didn't get what Wendy wants, she snapped a little bit, okay? So,
she snapped and put herself in like a terrible situation. She's like, let me go with the school predator to prom. And
let me put myself alone with him and his two friends, and somehow hope for the best.
I will say though, her prom dress, beautiful, stunning,
gorgeous. Oh my god, she looks amazing. And the way that she walked right up to Nick and smooched him, I was like, powerful. Don't do that to people, but she was giving diva vibes.
Jamie Lee Curtis is so beautiful in this movie, and she's in the weird hair length of it's like almost Farrah Fawcett, but it's almost like full 80s poof. It's like the weird in between, and I love
like
it.
70s shag as it transitions into the 80s. And I love that haircut on her. I thought she looked so hot in this. Oh, I want that haircut, but I don't know if I could do it.
Her prom outfit was not as sexy as Wendy's. And
her prom outfit?
Well, she's the good girl. Wendy's the bad girl. So,
but still, you could be the good girl and have a way better outfit than that.
That's true.
When she came down the stairs, I was like, oh my God, that is the worst dress I've ever seen. Thank God the top of it came off.
Yeah.
Whatever that shruggy thing was, I was like, that's an abomination to man. Burn it.
But it was an interesting immediate visual comparison. It's like she comes down, it's like almost a little matronly, hate to say it.
It was.
And then they cut to Wendy. And she's like, va va boom, spaghetti strap, sequins, red, like sexy. And I was like, well, Wendy's serving. Wendy is serving.
There's this article that I linked in the references where someone like wrote a paper about this movie and like I didn't read the whole thing, so sorry if I fuck up part of it. But it's like the final girl tropes versus this movie because they subvert some of them because Kim isn't like in Scream, people know about this movie because Scream references it. I can't remember the exact reference. Do you guys remember it? I don't know who it is, but it's like Jamie Lee in Prom Night. I think it's probably what's his name?
Randy,
yeah. They make it seem like she's like a classic final girl, but she's really not because final girls are usually like the main target of the predator, right? Kim is not. She's not the target of the predator at all. She's just a side character, honestly, in the main predation of the story, whatever. They're usually virginal or whatever, but they made it like super clear that she's not a virgin. She's had sex with Nick and she initiated it. So that was cool and exciting. And there's like this whole thing with like a balance of feminine and masculine tropes or whatever too with the final girl, and they're going into that too. Didn't get into that paragraph, so I stopped at that point.
Skimmed that part of it.
Skimmed that part of it. But it was super interesting that Randy Meeks would say like, "Oh, classic final girl," but she's not. She is different.
Okay.
Have you seen her 70s shag?
Apparently Randy says it's obviously Billy and Prom Night revisited, and the police should watch Prom Night to save time. The boyfriend is not the killer in Prom Night, but the brother is. Spoiler, it's the brother.
Spoiler, it's the brother.
And we're 34 minutes in. I feel like you should know that at some point we're going to say the ending.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. But you know what? He wanted everyone to know that he's seen Prom Night. And
it's a great film.
Clear.
Yeah, he needed to
It is a
say,
classic.
I don't just watch whatever movie he says Jamie Lee shows her boobs in. I watch all the Jamie Lee movies. Okay, so, one thing about the beginning of this movie that I thought was funny, is the killers making their little spooky, creepy phone calls to everybody.
I love those.
Loves those. Loves that all of the girls were like, ugh, whatever. I'm so unfazed by this because I get perverted little freaky phone calls all the time. And so I'm so unbothered. And that
I was
Nick
like,
was
oh
like,
God, the
I
70s
can't-
were different.
yeah, they're all so unbelievably unfazed. They all just go about their day. And Nick doesn't even get his phone call because he's like too busy juggling all these different bitches, and he doesn't have time to answer the phone. He's got to go out take girlies on dates.
It's so funny. This guy's like trying so hard to be a fucking psychopath, and no one's giving him the time of day. Like, ugh, another perv, heavy breathing on the phone.
Literally,
Mom.
all of the girls are just like, whatever, classic. It's just another Tuesday. Like, they move on.
Oh my God. Oh, also another part of the beginning that was like, we haven't touched on it all. Kelly's fucking boyfriend is the scum of the earth.
Drew.
I hate that bitch. I hate that
I think
bitch.
he's worse than Lou, maybe, but not actually. I don't know. They're tied.
Yeah, I mean, it is really tough when your boyfriend is the one sexually harassing you. Because obviously you have some reasons for dating him. Even if they have nothing to do with him as a person. Sometimes you just want to have a boyfriend or whatever. And so it's a tough position to be in. And it just like it made me so sad because we see Jade and Jude and Slick, and they're so obviously fucking horned up as hell for each other.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They're so unbelievably horny for each other. And then you have Kelly's boyfriend who does not give one shit if she's horny at all, is not trying to seduce her, is just trying to like press enough buttons that she will allow him to fuck her. He doesn't care if she's even excited about it at all.
Yeah. And she's like hiding from him the whole night because she knows that he's just going to try to pull her aside.
And she's like, I guess I'll let him tonight. And it's like, baby, don't do that. It's gonna be terrible. You're gonna hate it. And it's gonna ruin the whole experience. Like, this man is a terror. Toss him out on the street.
He does not deserve it.
I guess because when I went to prom, 2 times I went to prom. One I went as a throuple because I tried to ask a boy from a boy band to go to prom with me because I was delusional. a
little delulu.
I really thought it was gonna happen, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, I can't." Actually, he didn't say that. I was like, "Can you never go back to me?" And he was like, "No, I can't." And I was devastated, so I went with my friends. And then the other time I went with this boy. What if he listens? Do you think Ben listens?
He does. No, I don't think he does.
I hope he
but
does. If you do, hey Ben, love you, boy, but not like that.
He's married now, you know. It's
He's
fine.
married now. He's married now. I was just oblivious that this guy did have a crush on me. I thought he was just like, if it was like Monica would probably say yes to going to prom with me. So it was like not romantic at all. I was just like, this is my guy Ben, love him. And so I never felt that like horned up prom energy. Like, so I forgot that was a thing. But everyone's like, there's one thing to do tonight. There's 2. Disco dance choreographed.
Disco dance. Fucking.
3 actually unscheduled die, but
Dare.
Mm-hmm. Sad that it made the list after all.
Was your prom horny, Sydney? Like, was that the vibe? Did you feel that energy?
Yeah, I mean, we were in prom in the South, so there was a lot of like grinding to Southern rap music.
Nice.
Oh, that sounds
sexy.
great.
Also, we did that in middle school dances too. So TBH, middle school dances were way hornier than prom.
Oh, I was a little slutty dancer at the bat mitzvah circuit.
Oh my God.
Like
Queen
middle
of the dance
school
floor.
dances, nothing is hornier than a middle school dance. Nothing.
I was
It's because
such
there's
a
no expectation
fucking
to
prude.
actually do anything yet, and so like you're free to be as slutty as you want because you don't have to follow through on anything.
Chelsea's
when
being
you
a little
get
flutty
older,
duddy.
a little flutty duddy. When you get older and people have real expectations of you, it's not as fun anymore.
It's honestly not.
But I will say,
Very true.
my senior prom, I took one of our friends, and you know, we were going as friends, but I did the whole thing because I was like, need a prom date, gonna ask her in a fancy way. We're gonna make lots of jokes about it. And she made me a little paper V card to give me. So that we could say that she gave me her V card on prom night. So, you know, there were vibes.
The energy was there. And you both looked beautiful.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, it's important to at least have the little jokey jokes, I think, sometimes.
Yeah.
Which was all I had, but worked for me.
The closest to romance that I got, this was so bad. I felt really bad. We were slow dancing because we were, you know, you got to do it.
It's prom.
And we were like a foot away. We were saving room for Jesus. But then I looked over and I saw this little bitch that I hated with her super tall date, and I wanted to talk shit. So I leaned in so I could whisper in his ear that she looked really stupid. It's so mean. I'm so sorry.
Monica.
It's so mean. And he thought that I was leaning in to like be romantic. So he like pulled me all over close. And I got up to him and I was like, Alexis looks dumb.
I believe that.
And I ruined his life. Felt
Well,
really bad.
sometimes you have to be a hater, and sometimes you have to be a hater with a buddy.
She was really mean to me, so I could say whatever I want.
Okay.
But anyway, that was as close as I got to romance. And then like everybody else went to like the after parties with their date. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go with the theater kids. Bye. And I left.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say the fucking on prom night narrative is one that has persisted throughout history, but I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to sneak away to do it in like the locker room.
At the school. No.
That is
Honestly,
not fun and not sexy.
That's
no, I don't
way
wanna fuck
more
at school.
intense.
If you're so horny for each other, that's different. But
Yeah.
that is not what was happening here. He was literally like, I don't care, can't wait, don't want to, not going to. Let's sneak into the closest room where I think we can get away with this, basically.
Yeah.
I hate
Okay,
that bitch. He's actually my least
also-
favorite in the movie.
He sucks. He fucking sucks. And it's just so sad too because she just had like a whole fucking terrible experience. He's like, I could get it with anyone I want, and leaves. And she's like, feels violated and
Like,
horrible.
what a shitty thing to say.
I know. I'm like, no, you can't, dude. You have a shit personality and you give off like fucking weird vibes. But anyway,
You have to have a cool van if you want to get it with
Yeah.
anybody.
you gotta roll up on me in the neighborhood and say, do you want me to drive you somewhere, random stranger? That's what you gotta do. Come on.
Yeah.
No, but like the article that I was talking about with the like how they mess up all the tropes or do different things with the tropes here. Like usually the person who would be the final girl is fucking Kelly because she's the virgin who like gives off the virginal vibe. She's wearing white.
She was the
blah,
one who
blah,
was
blah,
like
blah, blah.
unsure back
Yeah.
in the hospital in the beginning.
And she also was like arguably one of the nicest. It was like her and Nick who were the least bad out of all the kids because they like she immediately cried. Nick immediately wanted to get help, and they're the last two to agree to the truce or to the swear to not do anything.
The secret.
Yeah, and then fucking Kelly dies first after being humiliated, like a horrible death. Ah. I mean,
Yeah.
not justice for Kelly, but
Justice for Kelly.
did she deserve
Well,
that?
yeah.
Maybe justice for Kelly. I don't know.
I mean, arguably, I don't think that this is the kind of movie where any of them deserve to be hunted down by a slasher, but it's also the kind of movie where I don't necessarily think that the killer is I think he kind of snapped more than was like a meticulously planned violence anger in his heart. You know what I mean? I think he just like
Yeah. No, he snapped.
couldn't take it and was acting out. But even
There's
Wendy,
plain
you know,
energy.
Yeah, even one day she was terrible. That was like a very long chase scene. You know what I mean? Like that sequence went on a long ass time.
That was forever. She kept hiding in all these different places. He really did a good job locking all the doors. Another Carrie thing to say. Locking all the doors. But yeah, I felt bad that she got her head smashed or whatever after seeing Kelly's bloody drip body. That was just bad.
Oh, that was sad.
Sad for her. That was very sad.
I will say I did find that scene a little bit confusing in the sense that it was so red painty looking blood, and then they were in like a storage cabinet, and then I really kept thinking it was gonna be paint and like misdirection.
Oh. I thought
and
it was gonna be Sykes. I thought it was gonna be because another one of the like red herring guys, is this this janitor who has like the glasses with the tape in the middle, and apparently like that was his idea, the actor, to do that. So good for him. He really created a character, honestly. But it was so obvious that it wasn't gonna be him. It was just like, oh, this guy has the weird glasses, he must be a pervert. No, he just drinks while he's at work, and sometimes people do that.
He's just like staring a little hard, but like some people stare a little bit, you know.
He's just zoning out because he's drunk at work. I really thought it was gonna be him dead because they were in the storage unit, and that would be like see, it's not him because he's dead. But then they did that later when they're like, see, it's not him because he's drunk and he's raving that there's a murderer.
Yeah, I will say I loved the way that they did some of the kills in this movie. I mean, like I mentioned it earlier, but I truly loved the slow-mo artistic scene, whichever one that was. Don't even remember whose death it was. But it was one of the first ones, and just like you couldn't really see what was happening even.
Kelly's.
And I thought that was so much like the suspense in it, like that I thought that was way scarier than when all of the like super gory modern violent, we're gonna show you their throat getting slit. Like I thought the mystery of it really added something special.
We get a little foreshadowing in the like earlier in the movie before all the deaths where Kelly and Jude get their yearbook picture like ripped out and like attached to their locker with a shard of glass.
Yes.
And then both of their throats are slit with big shards of glass.
He said, I have a little bit of a plan.
Yeah, I think it might have been an homage to Robin's death too.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they just had a lot of fun too. I thought Slick did a really good job fighting back in the van. He also was like, you know, that was a long scene. I felt like he almost got away a couple of times there. But it's a hard position to be in when you're driving the van and somebody's in the van with you trying to kill you. And I was, you know, a little surprised that the killer managed to make it out without being blown up. I thought that was skillfully done. But I don't know, I had a lot of fun with the deaths in this movie. I thought that they did a great job, and they really straddled that you can't see much, but sometimes you can see some of them. Like I thought it was fun. I thought they did a good job with that.
Oh yeah, it was fun. And I also think the way they got, what's her name, Jude? Is that her name?
Yeah.
The way they got Jude, where like I was freaking out because I was like, he's right behind the glass. I was like, can you stab someone through the back of their skull? Because I thought he was gonna like stab her through the glass and all of that, but then he just like opens it up, she falls back, and he just like stabs her in the throat so many times. Awesome. Dope. Very sad.
Poor Jude.
Dope. Yeah.
But at least she had love, and at least she fucked before she went, you know. So
exactly,
she had some of those important life experiences.
And she had sex, and
she ticked a couple items off the bucket list before she went.
Yeah, her hair looked cute. Sounds like a good night. Great way to go.
If you're gonna get killed on prom night, at least she found love and she banged it out first.
We found love in a hopeless place.
Now they'll be together, they're ghosts. So
No, yeah, I think they will. And that's a cute ghost outfit. Think about that. They all have
they're always
pretty
gonna be
cute
chic,
ghost
chic
outfit.
forever.
Yeah. Oh my God, wait. The other thing I was gonna say, oh, what's that music video? The Taylor Swift one, You Belong With Me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wendy's dress inspired Taylor's Mean Girl dress, I think. That's what I was thinking immediately. I was like, that's the quintessential sparkly red-orange Mean Girl dress. Brunette.
Honestly, I can see Taylor Swift being a Prom Night 1980 stan.
This is canon now.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift watched this movie and she's like, I'm gonna dress like her in my favorite music video. I bought it on iTunes. I love that song. I love that shit. What was I?
Yeah, I mean, I think the kills are really fun. I think the dance is the whole disco scene is just so unbelievably incredible. I love that they dedicated so much time to it. I love that they like hinted that it was coming with like Wendy and Kim's confrontation on the dance floor earlier when she was practicing. Because she had like fun practicing, and I was like, honestly, like, I don't know. I felt like in a lot of things, the person who got caught would be like embarrassed about their moves. But Kim is just such a baller, and she's just like, I was like throwing ass, and I'm going to later. You're gonna have to watch me with your guy, who's my guy now, bitch. He's going with me. Who are you going with? And Wendy's like, it's not who you go with, it's who you leave with, or whatever she says. Which apparently is a line that exists in all 4 Prom Night movies. So that's like the line of the franchise, I guess.
I don't remember them saying that in Prom Night 4 Deliver Us from Evil. Huh.
I guess you'll just have to rewatch it.
Yeah, I mean...
One night I'll make you guys watch that shit so you can see. It's one of those ones where they're like, they just tacked Prom Night onto it by saying that it happened on Prom Night. They don't go to prom.
Nice.
Spoiler alert, they don't go to prom.
But did you recognize Brock Simpson in it? I think that's his name. Brock Simpson is the only actor who's appeared in all 4 Prom Night movies. He plays young Nick in this one.
No way!
He's also the son of one of the producers.
Really good casting. I thought that all of the casting was pretty good for the kid ones. Well, particularly Nick and Kelly. I thought they looked a lot alike. I was like, good job. Is that their little sister?
Yeah, they had fun. They had fun with that.
Well, I just really want there to be a time in my life where like someone is being a bitch to me and I could be like, hold on, fuck you, and then break into a choreographed dance and wow the crowd. Because that's what happens. Like Wendy comes in and she's like being a bitch, and then JB Lee's like, okay, Nick, let's go. And then they get on the dance floor and they wow the crowd. She does a little flip. Adam and I were like, we could do this dance, no problem. And then all of a sudden there are all these like cartwheels happening and like death-defying stunts. And I was like, okay, we need to start training today.
I will never forgive like society for like getting rid of actual choreographed dance moves like that.
Yeah,
like
I know.
Disco or all the stuff that they did in like the 50s swing dancing.
Thank you.
Like
the government should subsidize cotillion.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Regency style balls where everybody knows the waltz.
Bring back the waltz 2023.
That thing where you have a dance card and you have someone has to sign up to dance for you, and then you go in a circle and you just have your hands up and you walk around. You see in Bridgerton, like that.
Yeah.
I love
Gorgeous,
the 2005
exactly.
Pride and Prejudice. I know all about fancy dancing.
I love swing dancing. When you come back to town, you can go to the Cicada Club. And when I do, oh yeah, we can do a lesson too. But basically, because there's one great thing about being a woman is that in these sort of dances, you just get spun around a lot of the time, and it's pretty easy to fall around. So I go to the Cicada Club. I say, Adam, I'm going to go to the dance floor. And he's like, that's fine. I don't like doing that. And so I go to the dance floor and I just wait. And then someone spins me around and I go, woo.
Gorgeous.
Oh God,
Stunning.
let's go.
And I feel all cool. And then I'm like, okay, I have to stop. I've spin too many times.
I am gonna hurl now, so I'll see you later. Yeah.
So we should do it.
But this dance scene is really incredible. Choreography amazing. Jamie Lee Curtis, an accomplished dancer. She also obviously was in Flashdance, so we know that she knows how to move.
I forgot about
The
that.
guy who played Nick apparently had a little trouble keeping up. They did have a dance
Casey
double
Stevens.
that stepped in for some of those moves, some of those scenes. I mean, it's hard. Like you said, you and Adam would have to train. But you know, I mean, it was well worth it. It was, I mean, I can't imagine what this movie would be without that scene, you know?
The camp of it
Wouldn't
all.
have the
I
pizzazz.
mean, it was really long too. It was the whole song, and it's a disco song. Those could be 7 minutes. Those could be 10 minutes.
Here's the thing. It wasn't long enough for me.
No, I felt right. It felt like a good amount of time. I was like, it's still going.
I needed more disco.
Sure.
The song never stopped.
Okay,
The whole time.
I've always wanted to have a prom themed birthday party.
Okay.
And so my birthday party, because it is on Halloween, is unfortunately going to be prom 1980 disco slasher.
Love.
One.
I'm so in. I'm going to get the shag.
Yes, that's when you could get your shag. But we're going to have to make like
and prom night shag. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, prom night shag is going to be the hashtag of my party. But I want to make a piñata of Lou. And so we hit it and his head falls off.
Gorgeous. Yeah, I mean, what a use of the axe for the kill. You know what I mean? Like, something had to happen. I loved that they swapped out the prom kings for their prank. I mean, I hate that that was the prank because he was gonna like molest her on stage or whatever.
Yeah, so many molestations. Did they like chloroform Nick?
They punched him. They like knocked him out.
And then they just like tied him up backstage.
Because he was all wonky after that. Like he could not do anything. So maybe he had like brain damage. Poor guy.
I mean, when you, like I always say, you're not supposed to be down for that long when you get hit and knocked out. So if you are down for a long time, it is brain damage city.
Chelsea,
so maybe it was just brain damage.
That.
I'm always saying that.
You're always bring the reality in. Like that person, see how long they've been out? They're dead.
That said, I love it as a little trope. I love to use it in a story. It's so fun and it's so useful. But yeah, I loved that whole bit where they're like getting Lou ready to go out and be announced as prom king. And then he just gets his head fucking chopped off with an axe. I mean, it is incredible.
It's
apparently
with the trumpets, and it spins out onto the stage while the trumpets are playing. Iconic.
Yeah, and I don't know exactly how they filmed it or which part this part of IMDb trivia was talking about. But there was a part in the movie where that actor had to be like partially under this stage or something.
Oh, that was clear. It looked like his face.
Was it when his head was popping out, or was it when his head was chopped from his body and they're showing his body? I think it was just his head, right?
Yeah, it's just his head. That was definitely his actual head. Because I was looking at it and I was like, that's exactly his face. And he's definitely just in the floor right now. And I love that.
Yeah, well, I mean, apparently, per IMDb, he had some sort of serious medical condition. And so he was like really scared and uncomfortable being under the stage when they were filming that part, that like something was going to happen or that it was going to collapse on him or something maybe. So the director held his hand the whole time.
That's so nice.
Which is so sweet.
So cute. That's so funny. That's so funny to picture. It's like his dead head and underneath the stage, the director's just like.
Director probably like lying on his belly next to his body underneath. Like, yeah. Isn't that sweet though?
That's so nice.
What a nice director. Paul Lynch. What a nice guy.
Anyway, that was my favorite piece of IMDb. Oh, that is not my favorite piece of IMDb trivia. My favorite piece of IMDb trivia when I was reading it is that it kept being like Eve Plum was supposed to play Kim. Eve Plum wanted to play Kim. And I was like, why do they keep mentioning Eve Plum as though I'm supposed to know
Eve
who
Plum
this bitch
wrote
is?
all of
Jan
those trivias.
Brady.
It's Jan Brady. Yeah.
How do you not know
and
who Eve Plum is, Chelsea?
was
I didn't
as soon
either.
as I looked at her IMDb and saw that she was Jan Brady, and I saw that she had been like legit cast in this movie and then was replaced when Jamie Lee Curtis expressed interest, I was like, that's so Jan Brady-core, unfortunately. She's gonna star in her own slasher,
so
and
bad.
then a bigger star came along, and they went, "Sorry, Jan, you're out. We've got our new Marsha." Like that's
Marsha,
so
Marsha, Marsha.
Sad. Sorry, Eve Plum.
I really hate to see it. Oh man. Well, okay, this movie is like so much fun and it's a blast and you're having an amazing time. And then the end is so fucking sad. It's
Really,
like,
really sad.
legitimately
Devastating.
heartbreaking. I was like, oh my God. I didn't see it coming that it was going to be the brother, which is stupid, but I didn't. I was like, what?
I didn't see it coming, but then there was a moment where you could tell that Jamie Lee Curtis recognized the eyes of the killer, and I went,
at that
oh,
point,
no.
yeah.
I knew something was about to come and emotionally devastate me, and I wasn't sure exactly what was happening, but I was like, she loves him.
I was thinking it was the dad at first. Like, I was like, oh
Yeah.
my God, it's the dad. And then it was the brother, and I was like, oh. That was the exact
she,
noise that I
throws
made.
her body on him to protect him at
Yeah.
the end. Oh my God.
She kills her own brother, saving the guy who was part of the reason that his
Murdered her
sister
sister.
died. Yeah. Oh my God. But like, what could she have done? You know?
Really sad. Really sad.
She axed him in the head. She hit him in the head with an axe. That's a bad way to go. And just his little bit at the end where it weirdly looks like he's wearing red lipstick, but I liked that. And he's just like, they grabbed it and they did it. And he's just like, oh my God, it's I was trying to pick like the end quote and I was like, maybe the last thing he says. And I was like, no, that's too much. It's too real.
It's too sad. Yeah.
It was so sad. And then it just ends on her face. And it just ends. And it plays that fucking 80s ass song. It's like time, there's not enough time, and time passes by, and now your brother's dead and you killed him. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Brutal. Whew.
Yeah, I mean, like, poor Alex, who saw his sister's dead body, maybe saw her fall out of the window. It's not clear to me exactly
he saw the whole thing.
Okay,
I
yeah, the
think
order
we
of
saw
events
all
I
of
got.
them biking
Sure,
away.
at the window or whatever.
Sure, yeah. So, and he knows that she was going in there.
Yeah, and like, you know, it's like the 6-year anniversary of her death or whatever. So you've got like that stressor going on. Like, all of a sudden, maybe he wasn't even friends with any of them, but like his sister's friends with all of them, and now she's dating Nick, and like Kim wants him to go to prom with Jude, maybe, and like all of a sudden he's in all this forced proximity. Like, he just he couldn't handle it, and like, you know,
this movie is known for being like one of the only slashers with a legitimate sympathetic killer.
Yeah, seriously.
I was sympathetic to him. I didn't feel that he had hate in his heart. I felt he was just a troubled boy who, you know, his twin got killed. And like, was it a tragic accident? Yes. But he knows to some degree what happened, and that there's been no repercussions for anybody, and that they like didn't even want to tell, not that there needed to be repercussions for them, because again, they were kids and it was an accident, but the fact that they were so willing to be like, whatever, her family's never going to know what happened to her, and that's fine with us. Her family's going to think that she was attacked by a predator, and that's fine with us. Like, her family's going to think that her last moments were like this horrifying attack, and that's fine with us. Like, yeah, I mean, what a mess.
So sad. Do you think that the people who wrote I Know What You Did Last Summer saw this movie? Wait, that's not what happens in I Know What You Did Last Summer.
It's
They
enough,
didn't-
like, what happens.
I don't know. I just wonder if they're like, oh, that plot point where it didn't end up being that. We should make it be that.
What if we did that? Yeah.
What if we did that plot point they didn't use?
Gave me an idea, though. But yeah, I
man.
mean, it's a sad movie. I was moved by it. I mean, the disco scene had already sold me, you know, so they could have done anything after that point, and I think I would have enjoyed myself. But I loved the reveal. I thought it was very powerful.
Seriously, I don't know. I've read so many things about this movie leading up to it, and I've had conversations with people being like, "This is not that good of a movie." The second one is where it's at, but like,
What are those
I
people
thought-
talking about?
I really liked it. I was like, "What? There's a dance. There's a whole dance. There's a whole dance. It's
I just,
disco.
you guys skip the
Everybody
dance?
dies
Like,
to the
what?
disco beat.
What do
I
you
don't
mean?
understand here.
Your people just must not like disco.
The shaggin' wagon fucking exploded.
Oh, that was
They're
great.
not my people. They're not my people. These are our listeners. They're our people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do our
Um,
people not like disco? You really can't be our people, if
People-
you don't like disco.
Get on board or get out.
Yeah. The disco train is coming with or without you, baby.
Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was great. I will say on IMDb trivia, apparently this movie came about because they wanted to do a holiday slasher. Somebody suggested a holiday slasher. And they're like, what if we did
'cause
something
Halloween
on
had just
Prom
done so
Night?
well.
Yeah, because Halloween was just a few years earlier. And so
And
it's interesting
Christmas.
that they got Jamie Lee. Yes, Black Christmas as
Yeah.
well. But apparently the original plot for this movie was going to be about some sort of like crazy gynecologist. And then people went, I hate that idea. And they went, okay,
Yeah,
we're going
good.
to change it.
Good. I'm glad someone said no. You need people around you to tell you no sometimes.
You need an editor. Exactly.
Exactly. We learned nothing from last week's episode. Come on. Oh, man. Okay, well, are we ready to move into our segments? Do we have any more feelings before we do?
Our
I think I'm
segmentos.
ready.
Goddamn. Okay, it's time. How would
Just
this
gotta
movie
sneak it in.
be gayer?
If
feel
they were
like-
identical twins and one of them was trans.
Yeah.
Which one? I don't know. Could be either for me.
True.
I also got a gay vibe from Alex, just saying. Like something
Mm.
queer, some energy from him. I really liked his fro also.
I don't
Very
know
cute. He rocked it.
why, but Lou and his three buddies were giving off like thruple gym gay vibes a little bit.
Really quickly, I just want to
Uh-huh.
talk about Lou's outfit for prom. His high-waisted jeans and his cropped tuxedo jacket was really spectacular. And his two boyfriends, as you were saying, were just wearing like, were they cropped tuxedo shirts, or did
Yeah.
I just add that in right now?
I think they were cropped or tucked
think they
in
were
or
cropped.
something.
Or something, or low cut, or some. There was something with them that was extra. Like, what the fuck? It was amazing.
I mean, the style in general, very fun. Loved it.
We love the late 70s. I mean, the dancing of it all, it just feels like it's a campy fucking movie, you know? So it
Mhm.
just like has the spirit of the gays within it throughout. It's really nice to see.
Yeah, I think. I mean, somebody choreographed that dance. Am I right?
Every aspect of this movie is queer.
Uh,
Oh, it wasn't gay, but something that it's like what's gay, what is gay that isn't gay is Jude
Okay.
and Seymour's relationship. Like that's very lesbian U-Haul.
They
vibe.
U-hauled that shit. Yeah.
Except they just
seriously.
shag and wagoned it. That's it. That's the only difference.
It could only have been better if Slick was like a butch lesbian who was just like rolling up in a shag and wagon.
Well, it could have been a butch
That's the
lesbian.
quick rewrite. That's the quick rewrite right there.
Mhm.
He could have looked exactly the same as he looked.
Yeah.
It's
Too.
giving he,
But
him lesbian.
instead
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
Seymour It's, Stephanie.
And they just
or they just go by Slick. Yeah.
My name's
Incredible.
Stephanie, but everybody calls me Slick, and you know why.
Love that.
A
Love
butch
that.
lesbian named
Ew.
Slick. I'm sorry.
That has
But
so
don't
many
say ew. Good for
implications.
her.
Wow. Where is she? I want to meet her. If Stephanie Slick, whatever the last name is, rolled up in the shaggin' wagon, I too would be like, drive me to school.
Yeah,
I'll
be your prom date. Let me get in the van.
Of course, I'll
Let's
immediately
fall
get in your
instantly in
van.
love. If she's a lesbian, also, I'm way more pro getting in a stranger's van. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've had a friend
I worked out for them
a
either way.
stranger's
I'm happy
van
for them
recently,
either way.
and she wasn't killed. So
Impressive.
Great.
she was at
I'm
a
so
wedding,
glad.
and she wanted cigarettes, and this guy was out front in a van, and she's like, I want cigarettes. He's like, I'm going to the store. You want to come? And she's like, okay. And she just got in his van, and then she came back. She's like, yeah, I was just in this guy's van. We're like, Allison. She survived. She had a great time. He was
so
very nice.
brave. And she got her cigarettes, bitch. She's a girl boss.
She did.
Okay, so that's how the movie could be gayer. Where would Matthew Lillard be? I feel like, the classic casting would be Lou, but Lou has such a good unibrow that I don't think Maddie Lily has the body hair to pull off.
I agree. I think he would be one of the henchmen.
I'd like to see him as Nick.
The hottie that everybody wants.
I want to see him disco for 7
secret.
minutes.
I would love to see him do a choreographed disco dance.
He would not need a stunt double. I'd love to see him
talking to his dad, being like, oh yeah, I just have so many bitches.
Yeah. I think seeing him be like, the good guy who was there with the murder when a murder happened 6 years ago as a child would fit him really well.
Yeah. I think that would be a natural place for him, and I'd like to see him with the 70s hair.
If we are really transing and gaying this movie, he could play Wendy, let's open our brains a little and really free cast. I think there could be something to that.
I like that too. I think that'd be great.
He would look great in that red dress.
Ooh, fun. Love it.
You'll look really good in that. Maddie, consider red sequence in your future choices. Just saying.
I will say though, I did like the actor who played Nick. He had a very nice nose.
I thought he was really cute. He reminds me of someone I had a crush on in junior high, and I don't know.
Aww.
Yeah. Oh, I just remembered who. Yeah, he looked a lot like him. I was like, there's something about that face. No, he's so cute. Oh, I also forgot to mention that I'm wearing the necklace that I wore to my senior prom right now.
There you go. Authentic.
Very authentic experience happening right now. Not the dress that I could never fit in again. Okay, it's time for dumb bitch.
I think it's probably has to be Wendy, unfortunately, because she was the one who made the call on let's not go get the police. And, Robin would still be dead. But then the rest of the movie wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, I agree. She's not.
That's it. I love the movie, so we need her. She can't have done anything different than how she is. But then I guess that doesn't make her not the dumb bitch. You know what I mean?
She's still dumb. She's still dumb.
She's still dumb. She's still a bitch.
She looks great. She's got amazing hair.
Sexy dumb bitch.
Very sexy,
still
very dumb.
Yeah.
Very dumb. It's too bad. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. I was gonna put Lou up there, and also David. What's his name?
Who's
Kelly's boyfriend?
Drew.
Sorry, D name.
You know
Sorry,
what? I'm willing to be swayed.
He sucks. At least Lou's got a swagger about him. Drew just is a wet blanket, and he's a bad boy, and he's mean.
He's a predator, but in disguise. He's not even being upfront about being a predator the way that Lou is like, yeah, I just put on a ski mask and then I grab bitches. Drew is like, I'm a boyfriend, so it's fine. No, it's not fine, Drew. It's not fine.
Even worse.
You're a terrible person. It's way worse. She trusted you. I've never thought that anyone should get a swirly. But I think he should get a swirly.
I think everybody should get a swirly at least once. Phil's
not
character.
I don't want one.
I don't want that at all. I
Phil's
haven't done anything
character.
to deserve that.
Have you had
You
one?
gotten a swirly?
What?
Oh my god,
College,
Sydney's gotten a
baby.
swirly. Wow.
What?
I'm so sorry
That feels
that
really late in
happened to
life
you.
to be getting swirlied.
Yep.
Oh,
Wow.
Devastated.
That's horrible.
That's what I want to say.
Wow.
So I think everybody should get swirlied.
I
love that you had a
for
bad
your suggestion. I
experience.
love that you're speaking from the heart.
I love that you had a horrifying experience and now you want to foist it upon everyone in the universe.
I have to justify it for myself. So everybody should probably get one. Probably it's good for you.
Okay.
Oh, wow, Sydney. This is part of your villain origin story. I understand your whole vibe a lot more now. I can't believe that it's taken how many years have we been friends for you to fess up to the fact that you've been swirly?
Here's the thing.
I'm really sorry that happened.
Thank you. I've talked about it in therapy before.
Yeah, I think so.
Adult swirly.
Love that I'll be like, yeah, I don't talk about a lot of things except on the podcast for all these random people.
And then sometimes you just toss something out like a little bomb.
And you're just like, oh yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
was swirly. My head was stuck in a toilet and they flushed it.
Damn. Brutal. Brutal.
Well, anyway, we're all here for you, Sydney. And if
Okay,
you want to
yeah.
talk about it, we're here. Yeah. Anyway, Knives Out what did people
We have to just move forward. I can't.
gotta keep going.
I'm so sorry, Sydney.
what did people think about this movie?
Okay, here's the thing. It came out really near to Friday the 13th. They were sort of in competition with each other a little bit. And that movie obviously became like a huge hit, but this movie, it seems like IMDb tells me that this movie was performing better, but somehow was like flying under the radar more for some reason. But it does not necessarily have good numbers behind it. It doesn't have like horrible haunting numbers the way some movies that we've covered have. But on IMDb, this movie has only a 5.3 out of 10.
Yeah.
And on Rotten Tomatoes, it has 48%, which is rotten from critics, and 34%, which is rotten from audiences. Which like blew my mind because I was like, did they also skip the disco scene? Like, what's happening here?
I guess maybe because it's not that scary, and then like maybe not everyone is going to a horror movie for a disco dance break, but that's like wrong, and that those people are making bad decisions.
I think a disco dance break should be in every movie.
I think that it's important to have something that surprises you in a film. And when you go to a horror movie and then instead you get a disco dance party, I think that that's a positive thing. It's like broaden your horizons. Could you try?
Mm-hmm.
Anytime there is disco like this, like I was shocked that there would be this much disco. And it was incredible.
I loved it. I mean, like I said, as soon as I saw the disco dance scene, I texted Sydney, Prom Night disco scene, 5 Knives, and I'm prepared to stand by that for the whole movie. Like, I thought it was really fun. I liked that it was a sympathetic killer. I thought that reveal was like very emotionally impactful. I thought some of the kills were shot in a really interesting way. And I loved the choreography of the dance. And so like I'm prepared to go full 5 Knives.
I love that for you. That's beautiful. I don't want to go. I want to go last because I'm trying to decide how I feel.
Take your time.
Part of me is interested. I want to know what the PG version of this movie would have been a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I do feel even though it's not, I do feel like of all the slashers, this is very PG. Although we do get very up close nipple shots of Kelly, which I guess makes it not PG.
Oh yeah, I did like that
nipple
scene because it felt very like vulnerable, which I felt was the right vibe for what had just happened with her, you know.
I will give this movie a 4 out of 5. Okay. And the disco scene gets an 11 out of 5.
Okay.
I'm with you. I think I'm like closer on Sydney's side because I loved it. I loved it. I can see where the criticisms lie though, because like as like a movie, I loved it. As a slasher, which like it is, like I was annoyed a little bit by the kills because I was like,
You wanted
show
more.
me something. You know what I mean? I just felt
Yeah.
a little oh, think of a better way to say it than that. Nope, blue balled. Couldn't think of another way. By some of the kills, but then some of them were so spectacular. I'm gonna give it a 4.4. How about that?
Nice.
I loved it in many ways, and in some ways, I was like, it's gotten a little long. But they have so many more goals now that I didn't have before watching this. Not about going on a rampage, but about the way that I die and what I do at my wedding. And I think those are two really important parts of life. And so it's obviously been a formative experience.
Beautiful.
Okay, well, I guess that closes the book on Prom Night 1980. Am I gonna introduce the next one? I think that I am.
Yeah,
because you
girl.
introduced the last one, Chelsea, and Sydney did this one. Okay, here we are. I'm
And
so
you're so excited for it.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Okay, here's a little story time. I used to be in charge of hiring people to be on the college radio station, and I was in charge of vamping up the interview questions. And so
up the interview questions.
yeah, because we were doing the interviews and people weren't showing me their personality. They're like, and it's all about personality on the fucking radio. They're just being like, I'm gonna say the coolest bands that I know. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's important too. But like,
where's your childhood trauma? You gotta have childhood trauma to be in radio.
Choice of words as well. Considering.
So I needed a icebreaker question, and so I came up with the best one ever. It asks a lot of the person who is being interviewed, but I think it tells you a lot about them. It was, what is your favorite Nicolas Cage movie and why?
Moonstruck.
Not do you like Nicolas Cage movies, but which one? You have to
Pick
have seen one.
Yeah.
Pick one now and tell me why. So what's yours, Sydney?
Moonstruck.
What's yours, Chelsea?
You know, I'm feeling very put on the spot. I have to let me look on IMDb just so I don't forget something obvious.
Chelsea, the safest one is National Treasure.
It's fine.
I know, and I feel like that's
National Treasure was the basic answer. Just saying.
Oh, I did really
also really good.
Also,
before I watch, well, he's in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, so I feel like I might want to say that one because I loved that film. But he also, not that I loved Pig, but one of my best friends summarized the entirety of the movie Pig to me before I watched it and did the voice, and that was a great experience as well, watching the film afterwards. So Pig also is on the list, I think.
That's great. I love Drive Angry. That's my favorite one.
Also a great one.
The second one is Face Off.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, Chelsea,
there's a lot of really iconic ones I haven't seen. Like I haven't seen Moonstruck, or whatever you said.
Chelsea, every time I watch Moonstruck, something bad happens, and I'm obsessed. Like,
scary. I did watch Peggy Sue Got Married because my girl's in that. But I didn't like him in that, so not that one.
Okay, well, you've already made your choice. But see, look, you learned. I'm cutting off the tangent. We learned so much about each other in this time. It's a very important question. And so now we're about to, none of us have seen this movie yet, but we're about to add another movie into contention. No, is that what I'm trying to say? Into the contest for best Nicolas Cage movie for competition. That's the word. That's a word that everyone uses all the time, but I couldn't remember it. But yeah, we are doing the brand spanking new Nicolas Cage film Renfield, and I'm really excited about this because Nicolas Cage as Dracula. Are you fucking kidding me?
That's why when you said vamping up the questions, I was like,
oh, I did not even think about that at all.
You're asking to vamp up the questions. You're like, what's your favorite Nicolas Cage movie? It now can be a vamped up answer.
I know. We got a lot of options.
Oh, we get double nicked in this movie because it's also Nicholas Hoult as well.
and he's cute.
So-
And Ben Schwartz is in it,
yeah.
which I just
Fun.
found out like this week, and I love him. So it's really good cast. It looks like it's gonna be funny and silly, and it just came on video on demand. So if you're down to pay $20, join us next week for Renfield. But it's that time where I ask you desperately to write us a 5-star review. And today is an important day because Sydney shared something very personal with us.
I did. Now, why
And
don't
so-
you share something personal in a
Yeah,
5-star
now
review?
it's your
Talk
turn.
about one of your
Now-
traumas.
Now it's your turn to share something very personal. No, you don't have to bare your soul,
Yes,
but you
you
can
do.
say,
No,
I'm
you
so
do.
sorry.
You do have to
Okay.
bare your soul, or
You have
we'll,
2 options.
we'll come swirly you.
Yeah, you have 2 options. You either bare your soul or you say, you're so strong, Sydney, 5 stars. Wrote them for you. There you go. It's easy. You just click it, you copy paste. We'll put it in the description. And also follow us on social media. We're releasing banger TikToks lately. It's crazy. So follow us at spooky_Tuesday on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. We're also at Spooky Tuesday Pod on Facebook and Tumblr. And we're on YouTube. I forgot to do that one at Spooky Tuesday there. And oh my God, it's going crazy. We have so many subscribers, 107. It's insane. It is
That is crazy
insane.
though, because last week you were like, we just reached 100. That's 7 more.
Yeah.
That is.
The shorts are doing stuff. Just saying. Anyway, and then also we're on Letterboxd at Spooky Tuesday. And as we always say for the last month and a half.
As we always say,
As we've
retroactively, we've always said this. You've never not heard it.
It
As
hasn't been
I
a month and a half.
retcon.
It's literally always been there.
I could go in if I wanted to and put
And
it
edit
into
that.
all the past episodes because we have the
maybe
ability
you
to edit
should.
old episodes.
Prove that it wasn't always there.
134 episodes I will have to go into. But as I've always said every single time, thank you for listening. See you next Tuesday.
You seem a little anxious, Wendy. By the way, who are you going with tonight?
It's not who you go with, honey. It's who takes you home.
Spooky Tuesday was created by Monica Height, Sydney Thompson, and Chelsea Duff, and edited by Sydney Thompson. Our gorgeously spooky tunes are all thanks to Tamara Simons, who you can follow on Instagram at Captain Tamara, and our podcast art is by Mary Murphy, who you can find on Instagram at the_moon_OMG.